Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a topic that I find really fascinating. Artificial intelligence in healthcare.
Yeah.
We hear about AI transforming, you know, finance, retail, even how we order pizza. But
Mhm.
uh, think about healthcare, the potential to improve and maybe even save lives on a global scale. That's huge.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just, future talk. It's happening now. I mean, look at Johnson & Johnson. They're already using AI-powered surgical robots, and that's leading to better outcomes for patients. And the amazing thing is these expert surgeons can, help patients all over the world.
Yeah, and that's just one example. And when
Mhm.
you see experts predicting like over $194 billion invested in AI healthcare by 2030,
Wow.
that kind of investment, that signals a massive shift, right?
It does. It's not just a new tool. It's really reshaping the entire landscape of
It's
healthcare.
not just about robots in the operating room. It's much bigger than that.
Oh, yeah. It really is. It's multifaceted. It impacts diagnostics, personalized treatments, drug discovery, leveraging data, machine learning to improve decision making at every level.
Okay, so where are we seeing the biggest impact right now? What's got everyone buzzing?
Well, diagnostics is a prime example. AI excels at analyzing medical images like X-rays, MRIs, often surpassing human accuracy.
Really?
Yeah, it can detect those subtle anomalies that might be missed even by, even the most experienced radiologist.
So you're saying a computer could be better at spotting something on an X-ray than, a doctor who's been doing this for 20 years?
In some cases, yeah, and especially when it comes to early detection, let's say with cancer, that can be game-changing for a patient's outcome.
So does this mean radiologists are about to be, replaced by robots?
It's not about replacement, it's more about collaboration, right?
Mm,
AI can handle those initial screenings, flag potential issues for the radiologist to then focus on.
okay.
It frees them up to dedicate their expertise to the more complex cases and ultimately provide better care.
So it's like augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them.
Exactly. And a really good example of that is this recent collaboration between AWS and GE Healthcare.
Oh, yeah.
They're developing generative AI models to, enhance diagnostic accuracy, make clinical workflows smoother. It's a big deal.
That's a powerful combination of those two. What exactly will those models do?
Well, think faster, more precise diagnoses, even in remote areas. These models could analyze images, patient history, even genetic information, and all of that in real time to help doctors make the best decisions.
That's amazing. Are there other examples of AI being used to improve, like, accessibility to healthcare?
Oh, absolutely. AI-powered virtual health assistants. Those chatbots are getting incredibly sophisticated.
Yeah.
They can provide basic medical advice, answer patient queries, even help manage chronic
Like
conditions.
remind you to take your meds
Right.
or
Exactly. Or
uh,
schedule a follow-up appointment. So much potential there.
I can see how that's especially impactful for people in, underserved areas with limited access to doctors.
Absolutely. In fact, Babylon Health conducted a clinical trial where their AI chatbot accurately advised hundreds of users.
Wow.
It shows the potential of AI to really bridge those healthcare gaps, especially in regions with limited resources.
Okay, so we're seeing real progress here.
Mm.
But, with all this data being used, what about security?
Yeah.
It seems like every day we hear about another ransomware attack targeting hospitals. That's got to be a concern, right?
Oh, for sure. It is. It's a huge concern. Data privacy and security are absolutely critical, especially in healthcare. I mean, we're dealing with very sensitive information.
Right.
Any kind of breach could have devastating consequences.
So how do we make sure that this data is protected? Like, what are the safeguards in place?
Well, regulations like HIPAA here in the US and GDPR in Europe, they set some pretty strict rules for how patient data can be handled.
Hmm.
So we're talking, secure storage, encryption, and then you have all these robust security measures to prevent unauthorized access. It's not just about building impressive AI, it's about building trust.
Right, because if people don't trust the system, they're not going to, share their information, and then the whole thing falls apart.
Exactly.
Okay, so beyond that, the technical side, what about potential bias in
Oh,
the AI itself? Like if the algorithms are trained on data that's not representative, could that lead to unequal treatment?
that's a really key challenge. If an AI is trained primarily on data from, let's say, urban hospitals,
Mhm.
it might misdiagnose conditions that are more common in rural populations simply because it wasn't exposed to enough of those cases during its training.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how do we address that? Like, how do we make sure that the AI is fair and impartial?
Well, it comes down to using diverse data sets.
Hmm.
Right. And then making sure those algorithms are regularly audited and building transparency into the system. We
Mhm.
need AI models that are fair and equitable for everyone, not just a select few.
So it sounds like a lot of work goes into making sure that AI is used responsibly in healthcare.
It definitely is. And then you have another hurdle, which is integrating AI into existing healthcare systems, which is not always easy.
Right.
A lot of facilities, they still rely on outdated infrastructure,
Oh, yeah.
which makes implementing new technologies difficult.
So even if we have like cutting edge AI, getting it to work within the real world limitations of hospitals and clinics is a whole other challenge.
Exactly. And then there's the human factor. We have to train healthcare professionals to use AI
Hmm.
effectively.
Well,
If they don't have proper training, there's a risk of misuse or even resistance to adoption.
hmm.
People are naturally a little hesitant when it comes to new technologies, especially in a field like healthcare where the stakes are so high.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that technology alone isn't the answer. It's how we implement it and integrate it that truly matters.
Absolutely. The goal is to seamlessly blend AI with human expertise to elevate patient care.
Okay, so if we kind of zoom out and look at the big picture here, how is AI actually going to change the experience of being a patient?
Yeah.
Like, what's the end goal?
Well, imagine your doctor having instant access to your entire medical history. Genetic information, lifestyle data, all of that analyzed by AI to create a personalized treatment plan just for you.
I mean, that sounds futuristic, but is that really within reach?
It's becoming reality. AI is enabling a level of personalization that we just couldn't have imagined a few years ago. It can help predict your risk for certain diseases, identify the most effective treatments based on your individual profile, even monitor your progress remotely.
So it's not just about treating diseases, it's about preventing them in the first place.
Exactly. And that shift towards preventative care is incredibly exciting. Imagine having a virtual health assistant, right, that reminds you to take your medication,
Mm,
but also provides personalized health tips, encourages you to adopt healthier habits. It's like having a personal health coach in your pocket.
right. Always there to keep you on track. And it's not just about convenience, is it? I mean, you mentioned how AI can address some of these systemic challenges, like access to care in remote areas.
Absolutely. It has the potential to really level the playing field when it comes to healthcare.
You mentioned earlier the Babylon Health trial, where a chatbot was providing medical advice. Do you think AI could actually replace human doctors in certain situations?
I think it's important to remember that AI is a tool. It's not a replacement for human doctors. It's about extending their reach, making care more accessible, especially in areas with a shortage of physicians.
So it's more about using technology to fill the gaps, ensure that everyone has access to quality care, regardless of where they live.
Exactly. And as AI keeps evolving, we're going to see even more innovative applications. Think of AI-powered prosthetic limbs that can learn and adapt to a person's movements, or AI-driven drug discovery platforms that can develop new treatments in a fraction of the time it takes now.
It's mind-boggling to think about all the possibilities.
Yeah.
But it's also important to be realistic. I mean, AI is still a relatively new field. Are there potential risks or downsides that we need to be aware of as this technology continues to advance?
Well, like with any new technology, there are, potential challenges and pitfalls. We've already touched on data privacy and, making sure these systems are developed and deployed responsibly.
Right. It's not just about what AI can do. It's about making sure we're using it ethically.
Exactly. And as AI gets more sophisticated, those considerations become even more crucial. It's an ongoing conversation.
It really feels like we're at a pivotal moment in healthcare.
Yeah.
What would you say is the key takeaway for our listeners about the role AI is playing right now?
The most important thing, I think, is that this isn't science fiction. This is happening right now. AI is already transforming healthcare in so many ways. From, diagnostics and personalized treatments to drug discovery and just making healthcare more accessible, it's really changing how we approach health and well-being.
And we're not just observing this transformation. We at Kanerika are actually involved in shaping it.
That's right. We are developing AI solutions that really make a difference in people's lives. We work on optimizing hospital workflows, streamlining those administrative tasks, and even developing predictive models that can help identify patients at risk for certain conditions.
It's amazing to think we're using AI to not only treat diseases, but prevent them in the first place.
And it's not just about the technology itself, it's about understanding the needs of healthcare providers and patients and developing solutions that are easy to use, effective, and of course, ethical.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into AI and healthcare, is there a final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I would say this is just the beginning. The potential for AI to positively impact healthcare is enormous, and we're only just scratching the surface. It's a really exciting time to be working in this field, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
I completely agree. And it's a future we at Kanerika are very excited to be a part of. And to all of you listening, we hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights into the power of AI in healthcare. Thanks for joining us.